You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show, the family comes to you. 16 years, 2,300 episodes so far of just the most amazing, delightful people with their journeys, their stories, their lessons of life. They bring to you and help you improve the quality of your life, because we've seen some of you need some help. I'm talking to Bob there in the audience in the back. Anyway, guys, she is a wonderful human being and a lovely gal. Dana L. Cox joins us on the show. She has her new book out February 25th, 2025, called From Burnout to Badass. Flip the script on your work-life story. We're going to get into some of the details on her journey, et cetera, et cetera. And she was born and raised in Milwaukee's Hillside Housing Project, where the odds weren't in her favor. She became a teen mom, juggling diapers and textbooks while putting herself through college and earning both a bachelor's in business and an MBA, all while working and raising a family. And 7 incredible children. Is that right, Miss Cox?
Yes, that's correct.
There you go. 7 kids. There you go. You should have moved to Utah. You fit in just wonderfully. Her journey has been marked by a profound loss. Her son, Charles, passed away at birth, a pain most parents should need to endure, even in grief, and she found the strength to keep on going. She's going to talk to us about some of her journey here, as well as becoming a global executive at a Fortune 500 company. Welcome to the show. How are you, Dana?
I'm great, Chris. How are you?
I am excellent. It's wonderful to have you. Congratulations on the new book. Give us your .coms. Where do people want to find you on the interwebs?
DanaLCox.com. and fixcoaching.com.
There you go. And so give us 30,000 overview. What's in the new book?
What's in the new book? It's really, it started off as my journey from burnout and out. But also it's just really to help other individuals understand to recognize the signs of burnout and to also find their path away from that, or to prevent getting there if they're on that pathway. So it was really a journey, and to give them the tools that they need to be able to kind of create the harmony in life so that they can have a successful professional career, but also a very thriving personal life without having to sacrifice their weekends or their Saturday nights.
Oh, you mean I can have weekends off as an entrepreneur?
Yes, you can.
I'll talk to my boss, see what he says about that. Wait, it's me. So there you go. So from burnout to badass. I was reading much of your bio you sent to me was in the first person. So tell us a little bit about your story and how you were raised and some of the challenges you overcome there.
Yeah, so you mentioned being raised in the inner city of Milwaukee. So definitely come from humble beginnings, aka poor. To be honest and to be frank, right? But I also had a teen mom. So it was, I think this is the cycle. But for me, it was the long bus rides to school. My mom was very adamant about my education. So I went to parochial school, which did require long bus rides. So for high school, it was 2 hours to and from school. But grades were important. Participation, extracurricular sports and things of that nature were also important. But it was not an easy environment to be raised in, to be honest. My mom worked 2 jobs, first and second shift. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents or as a latchkey kid.
There you go. And so you end up growing up, and then somehow you get 7 kids. I've heard they're studying on what causes that.
Yeah. Well, I was married, so I was married for 33 years.
Wow.
33 years.
And 7 kids.
7 kids.
You got to get the 7 kids in there because I mean that's a feat. That's a
One
work.
daughter and 6 sons,
Mhm.
for sure. But they are, except for Charles, all of them are adults and thriving, productive members of society. Thank goodness. So did something right.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm sure you did quite a few things right.
Did something.
So when you decided to end your 33-year marriage, and
Mhm.
were you now during the time that you were married and raising the kids, were you going to college at all? Were you
Yeah.
climbing the corporate ladder and stuff like that? Because I know it's part of
Oh,
your story.
yeah,
Okay.
both of those things. So
All right.
working, going to school at night,
Mhm.
going to school on the weekends. So it was definitely burning the candle on both ends and in the middle.
Mhm.
Cooking the meals, helping the kids with their homework. I think I lived off of probably 3-4 hours of sleep during that period of time. But it's not. It's those are the things that fuel you, wanting to make sure that my kids had a different experience in life than I did, and that was really the thing that fueled my engine.
Mhm. There you go. And
But
so
oh, go ahead.
you end up at one point deciding to start your own company.
I did that recently. Recently, actually,
Okay.
deciding to start my own company, but it was really more about. I had a job that I loved and I was good at, but you know how you really wake up one day and you realize you're meant for more.
Mhm.
While I could do it in my sleep, it was not the thing that was getting me out of the bed every day. And
Ah.
so when I think about what motivates me, what brings me the most joy, it's really being able to pour into others and help to develop others and help them recognize the greatness within them. That was the aspect of the job that was most exciting and most exhilarating for me. And I
Mhm.
think it's really in line with my purpose.
Ah. There you go. And so now you have 2 books, to my understanding, correct?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. So the first book was released about 2 years ago. It's called The Fix:
Mhm.
Focus and Intentional Execution, the 7 Steps for Climbing the Corporate Ladder
Hmm.
Without Sacrificing Your Health or Neglecting Your Family.
Ah. I like neglecting my family though. They're annoying. No, I'm just teasing.
Sometimes they can be. You
They
can't
can
help.
be. Yeah.
You can't
Well,
help.
I have 2 huskies. They practice being annoying. So there you go. So yeah, now you're out coaching people, helping them achieve their goals, et cetera, et cetera. Tell us about some of the services you offer there.
Yeah, so biggest thing for me is helping high achieving women to get positioned, promoted, and paid
Hmm.
without the stress, without the burnout, and without the waiting game, Chris. So
Hmm.
oftentimes women are waiting for someone to recognize their greatness or recognize how awesome they are, or the value that they contribute.
Hmm.
And it's really not a waiting game. It's really not being the best kept secret, but they need to be positioning themselves and making sure that they are evangelizing the value that they bring to the organizations that they work in.
There you
It's
go.
not their boss's job, and certainly their bosses are not sitting around thinking about how they are going to market Sally's greatness.
Yeah, you definitely have to advocate for yourself in this world, right?
You do,
Yeah.
and it's interesting. We talk about the pay gap,
Hmm.
but the society has a role in that, but also the reality is that less than 30% of women even negotiate their salaries.
Yeah, I've heard that they're bad at negotiating or they don't. Yeah.
They don't, and
Hmm.
they don't for many reasons, but some of it's just not knowing how to. Other aspects is just being conditioned to think that people will just give you what they think you're worth,
Hmm.
um, and some of it is just fear of rejection. Um,
Ah, you might get a no.
you might get a no, but it's really important to reframe the relationship with rejection and really not see the no as a never,
Hmm.
but to also see it as a negotiate, right? And an
Ah.
opportunity to negotiate for themselves. And understanding how to do that is really important as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. So in your book, you get into um um basically calling people to greatness,
Yeah.
being bold. Do women sometimes have trouble being bold like men?
They do. They
Hmm.
really do. I think, it's we're we're conditioned probably to think that if we are speaking about our accolades, then we're being obnoxious. You want other people to acknowledge how great you are, or to stamp you as approved, if you will. But I'm a firm believer that, if I opened my eyes this morning, I was approved to be here.
I like your attitude.
Number one, right? If I open my eyes, I have been approved by the person that matters, the entity that matters. I get a chance to do it again. But people see you how you see yourself. So if you don't see yourself as great and awesome and wonderful, no one else is either.
That's a good point. I see myself as awesome all the time. So.
Listen, all of that and a bag of chips, sir. Pass the dip, please.
There you go. Pass the dip, please. There you go. So what are some offerings you have on your website that you offer to people? Courses? Tell us about some of the stuff that's there.
So a couple online courses that I have. I also have a in-person 2-day event called the Get Paid Accelerator that I'm running this April in Atlanta, Georgia. It's really to help really give women a fast, I'm going to call it an intensive deep dive into all the things to help them get positioned, promoted, and paid, but also walk out of the room with a 90-day blueprint on the steps that they need to take in order to secure their next promotion or pay increase.
Wow. There you go. I mean, it's really something where you have to advocate for yourself in life. You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to really, push, be seen. There's a lot that goes, especially if you're working in a corporate environment where, you've got to compete with other people and stacks. I think probably, do you counsel on entrepreneur women?
Yeah, actually I do. Because I also think as entrepreneur women, the negotiation is different, right? It's not necessarily for a pay increase or anything like that, but it's really about positioning themselves against the competition. How do they, market themselves and identify the right target audience, identify the right clients, and secure the conversations with the right people to make sure that they are creating the opportunities for them and their business to show up and to get the margins.
There you go. And so you talk about different things like leadership and career development, getting the right tools. You definitely need to have the right tools to be a good leader. You can, anybody can be a leader technically, but a lot of people can suck at it. Self-empowerment and authenticity. Why is it important for people to discover authenticity and feeling self-empowered as opposed to victimhood?
Well, I think it's a matter of, everybody else is already taken. So how about figuring out who you are first and being the best version of you, which is key, right? We're all different individuals, but I think it's important to understand your voice, your desires. What does success look like for you, and being able to define that for yourself and not take someone else's definition of that. I think that for me personally, that has been a big piece of my own journey, is getting to a place where I was able to identify what success looked like, what it felt like in my own life. And once I got clear on that, then I could create the roadmap that aligned and created and allowed that to become a reality for myself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Lots of good stuff that people need to take and learn in this thing. Personal growth and mindset. You empower them to shift their mindset, build resilience, and pursue goals with clarity. Tell us some kind of overview of that and how you help people.
Yeah, so it's really important to, I think we all are up against different challenges in life. And it's a matter of how you see those challenges, right? Do you see them as truly, you mentioned victimhood earlier in the conversation. Do you see that you're a victim of those things, or do you see them as opportunities for growth? So it's a matter of perspective, and being able to shift that perspective. Most of the time, those are lessons, right? It's not a win or a loss situation. It's a win or a learning opportunity. And so it's really reframing how you think about those things, how you approach those things to give yourself the best opportunity to overcome them.
You talk in your book about overcoming blind spots. I think Anthony Robbins called them scotomas. We all have blind spots where we can't sometimes see what the real problem is, or I don't know, maybe we're in denial, we've blocked it out, or maybe we just can't see it. Maybe we just, we're kind of in our, what's the old adage? The fish can't see out of the water, or something like that, or fish can't see through the glass. I don't know. There's some fish analogy about how they can't see they're swimming in water. I don't know. Whatever.
I haven't heard that one.
So I'm sure someone in the audience will figure out which reference I'm referencing.
I'm like, I haven't heard that one. I'm lost.
I'll see if I can Google it real quick while you answer. But blind spots and scotomas, how do those impact us?
You know, it's important to understand what your blind spots are, right? Because sometimes we're trying the same thing. What's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and wanting a different outcome, right? But if you find that you keep running up against the same challenges and you're not getting to where you want to be, obviously there's something else there, right? And sometimes we don't want to recognize that there could be blind spots that are impeding our ability to grow, evolve even further. We like to hear that we're all that in a bag of chips. So we talk to people who are fans, right? They're raving fans of ours. But I also think that it's important to talk to people that, you know, may find you difficult to work with, or that you might find difficult to work with, because sometimes those are the best people that are willing to tell you the things that you're not even noticing, that are opportunities for you, or blind spots for you that need to be addressed so that you can evolve into your best version. And it's being willing to have those conversations, but also not necessarily being resistant to hearing the feedback. It's just data. It is data. And sometimes we get so wrapped up and emotionally charged by the information that we're receiving, because it's not necessarily what we want to hear, but it's the things that we need to hear that give us the best opportunity to evolve and to grow from there.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, so the reference I was trying to pull from is fish can't see water, evidently. I guess that's the thing. We can't see air, they can't see water, because they're just living in it. So they can't identify it as a separate thing. It'd be kind of weird if we can identify. Well, I can identify an oxygen tank. Symbol on it.
Well,
but
there's an analogy around, I think it's fleas, right? And so you can put them into a jar and they will jump out of the jar without a lid, right? Yeah. But then if you put a lid on that container, they then adjust their jumping to just that level. After you take the lid off, they will never jump out. And a lot of blind spots work pretty similarly, right? We condition ourselves in a certain way and we never evolve beyond that unless someone points that out or we are given an opportunity to push past that. So it's pretty similar to the flea with a lid on it.
The lid flea. Yeah, I've heard that analogy. It's pretty cool. It's interesting how that works. So you can train people to do things. What have we talked about? I think, didn't you say you had another website beyond DanaLCox.com?
Dana L. Cox and fixcoaching.com. They pretty much bring you to the same information.
Okay.
Yeah, they bring you to the same information. One, essentially all the things about me, who I am, right? But also the services. So not just the individual things that I offer from coaching, but also business consulting, from an operational efficiency, talent development, those types of are also aspects that I cover as well. Strategy, operations.
So it sounds like you cover a lot, and you know a lot from both the corporate field and the entrepreneurial field, helping people do their thing. What do you find a lot of people are coming to you having issues with? What's a popular issue you're seeing from clients?
You know, the one thing that has been resonating probably the most as of late is in regards to negotiation and how to have that conversation, what the conversation needs to be, how to structure that conversation, and even getting to a place of confidence and belief in their own abilities in order to be willing to have the conversation. So it's been a lot around negotiation, not just from a salary perspective, but also from a seeking opportunity, growth opportunity perspective and things of that nature. So just helping them to get into the right frame of mind, but also as to how they see their work, what they've contributed to the organization, and being able to talk about that from a way that resonates from a place of value. And a lot of times there's a lot of ahas, because it's, you can say, I did 23 projects this year. And it's like, okay, So what? What does that mean, right?
So
What does that mean? Why do I care that you did 23 projects this year? But if you say I did 23 projects this year that contributed to the organization making an additional $3.5 million, that's a very different conversation.
That's a different conversation. I always negotiate with give me what I want or else and put the money in the bag.
This sounds like robbery.
Oh, shit. I always get those two mixed up. I'm going to have to call my parole agent again. Damn it. There you go. Wasn't
So
me.
it's helping them to reframe even how they talk about the work that they do from a place of value. And when we have that conversation, a lot of times it's like, oh, that's what my boss wants to hear, or that's what my boss needs to hear. It lands a lot different when you say, this is how much money I've enabled this organization to make, or this is how much money I've enabled this organization to save.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Show me the numbers matter. I like to make sure that I say not only know your numbers, but own your numbers, right? So it's a matter of understanding the measurable impact that you are making within the organization and be able to talk about that, not be the best kept secret around within your organization or within the marketplace. But also when I say know your numbers, own your numbers, it's one thing to say, I want X salary or I need, or I deserve X salary. But do you know what that number is? Have you done the research from a marketplace perspective to understand what you should be making based upon your education, your years in that type of field? Do you know that? And then are you willing to have the conversation? I like to have my clients do an exercise, stand in the mirror and say, I am worth, and fill in the blank with that number. Can you say it? Can you say it like a fact? Does it roll? Is it natural? Does it flow in that way? And if you can't say it with your chest, with your whole chest, Chris, then you're not going to say it to anyone else if you can't say it to yourself, first and foremost. But if you can say it too easy, the number is too damn small. So it's supposed to make you sweat a little bit.
So we need a sweaty number then.
not a huge sweaty number, just a little sweat, little palm perspiration.
Yeah,
because
you do have to go high in negotiation to kind of meet in the middle. Yeah, you got to pull the thing all the way out and extend the outside so you can get right down there to the middle.
Yeah, and don't give a range, please. Don't give a range. Stop giving ranges.
Do people do that? They go, here's a range of what I'm willing to accept. Really?
And when you go buy a car, the car has a sticker on it. It has a price. It don't have a range. It's a price.
Don't have a range.
It doesn't range.
I can see somebody saying to
offer you the lower end of that, right? If you say my range is from here to here, they're going to offer you the lower end of that. They're not going to offer you the higher end of that.
I can see somebody saying, what's my range? And I'm like, I'll accept 0 to 100,000. And they're like, okay, well, 0.
Roll it.
Damn it, I screwed myself again. Well, there's next year. So anything more we need to talk about, tease out on what you do, how you do it in the book, et cetera, et cetera?
Oh, it's interesting that you asked that question. I think it's a matter of, I have a free training tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. I have a free training tomorrow. It's starting at 6:00 Central, 7:00 Eastern. It's called the Get Paid Formula. Learn how to get paid your worth without the burnout. So I cover literally my Get Paid Formula and to help you own it, earn it, and protect it.
Wow. There you go. So give people a final pitch out as we go out on the book. Tell them where they can get to know you better, a handshake, maybe ask for time to see if you're a good fit together, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. So definitely reach out to me at danalcox.com or fixcoaching.com. You can schedule a conversation with me directly from the website. Feel free to connect with me on linkedin.com as well. Would love to connect with you and understand how I can best support your needs in this marketplace.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it, Dana.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. And I enjoyed having the conversation with you today.
Thank you. It's good to have a real badass on the show for a change.
Hey, it takes one to know one, Chris.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not going to do any badass jokes on the show, I think, at this point, because I can only come up with awful ones. Anyway, thank you very much for coming to the show, Dana. From burnout to badass, flip the script on your work-life story. Out February 25th, 2025. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.